Hey, you can't park here. This is a no parking zone.
Says you, and what army?
The ZPD.
Well, you're gonna have to catch me, meter maid.
Hey, come back here.
Hey guys, today we're going to be opening up and playing with some of these Zootopia figures. We've got Judy and her meter maid car. We've got Nick in his convertible. And we got a single figure here. We got Kevin, and he comes with Mr. Big. I'll start with Mr. Big and Kevin. Now these figures are different from the Disney exclusive ones. They're actually articulate, so you can pose them and move them around. Here's Kevin, one of the polar bear sidekicks of Mr. Big. His arms move. He's got a necklace there. Pretty good detail, not as good detail as the Disney figures, but again, these move while the Disney figures are more statuesque. They don't move. He's got rings on his hands, but they're not colored. I kind of would have liked for these to have been colored. Would add a little bit more detail to it. There's some texture to the fur, though. These aren't cheap figures. This is pretty nice. And let's pop Mr. Big out. Of course, he is tiny. I think he's an Arctic shrew. Is the kind of animal he is. The crime lord. And let's compare him to the Disney figure I've got back here. We did a review on the Disney figures, so we've got them. And this is one of my favorite figures, I think, the Disney Mr. Big, because look at the detail on this chair. It's got little gilded etch work. It's got carved handles on the chair. Very cool, but this figure is nice as well. It doesn't move though, it's not articulate, but again, it's just a little side piece that comes with Kevin. Alright, so let's open up Judy's meter maid car and her meter maid outfit here. Alright, here is Judy. Her head articulates here, her arms. No elbow joint, but a shoulder joint, and goes up and down. Swings it left and right. No knees, but she's got hip joints. Her legs don't go back, but they go a little bit forward and back. And one thing I found is that she really does not like to stand too much, so it's kind of difficult to get her to stand. So she might want, oh, there she goes. Okay. And here's Weaselton. I'm very glad he's in this little package here because he was a missing figure in the Disney exclusive set. It would have been nice to have Weaselton, considering how important he is to the plot of the actual movie. It's bug eyes. He kind of looks like that little scrap thing in the Ice Age movies, doesn't he? And here is the meter maid car. 3 wheels. Zootopia Police Department. And you can stick this little bag in the back. You can set out cones for zoning off areas. Judy can sit. Very cool. Alright, before we go on to Nick, I want to show you. Here is a comparison. Here's the Judy we just got. Here's the Disney Judy. They are both actually very well detailed. I want to say the Disney one is still a little better, but honestly they're pretty close. I'm going to set her in her car because she'd much rather sit than stand. And on to Nick. Here's Nick in his convertible, which I wonder how he can afford a convertible. All the cons he's been running, I imagine. Here is Nick out of his toy box. He's got on a yellow button-up shirt, a red tie, khaki pants. This is pretty cool. His tail wiggles. Actually, he twists back and forth so he can wag his tail. He's got the same points of articulation that Judy has, the ones on his hips, and his shoulders, and his head shakes left to right. He can't nod though, neither can Judy. One thing though, the tail makes him a bit butt heavy, I guess. So in order to make him stand, I tend to have to make him lean forward kind of unnaturally, but that's okay. Here's his convertible. A little disappointed that the wheels aren't rubber, but I guess it's to be expected. The wheels on the Maid car were plastic as well. And you can notice some attention to detail. The steering wheel is on the left side for this car, while the Maid car, the steering wheel is on the right side, which, you know, makes sense for a Maid car, because they have to drive on the side and give tickets as they drive by cars. Speaking of tickets, Nick has one on his windshield here. So it looks like he parked in the wrong place again. And one other thing that came with this little set is just a little stoplight, go light, and we can sit Nick in the convertible. As you can see, we have a little, he's got a tail hole cut into the seat. So that's some pretty custom stuff he's got on this ride. And there you go. Off he goes. Whoa, watch out, Mr. Big. Don't want to run over Kevin or any of those guys. You will be in some deep trouble. And I could have sworn we had a Disney Nick figure around here somewhere. He was skulking about a minute ago. There he is. Alright, here's the Disney Nick. And I have to say, this figure does look a lot better. The Disney one does. Because if you compare them, there's even a print design on this shirt. There's little palm trees. He's got a little Hawaiian shirt, but this one's just kind of, it's just a drab yellow. It does have some texture to it, very little bit. It's not even that noticeable, but this has different colors and different colors in the tie as well. Smile is more defined, but again, no points of articulation, and for some reason it's much bigger. Like the Disney Judys were very similar in size, but between these two figures, this Nick is almost twice as big. If I had to decide whether to get the Disney exclusive figures or the playset figures we opened today, I would say if you are buying them for yourself, that is an adult, an older person who is collecting these figures, I would go with the Disney one hands down. It's 10 figures for 20 bucks, that's a steal. These figures are a little pricey. The cars were $15 each. Kevin alone was I think $9, which is quite a bit for just one posable figure and a little add-on figure. But if you're buying them for someone who's going to play with them, definitely go with the figures that are posable and can articulate some motion.